Modern corporate work rewards those who can learn continuously and adapt to unfamiliar ideas. But for most busy professionals, the reading list looks like this: a towering stack of ambition, slowly collapsing under the weight of a demanding schedule. Relying on occasional bursts of motivation to get through that stack rarely works. A free hour to sit down and read almost never appears during a normal corporate week, and when it does, mental exhaustion usually takes over. To survive a schedule like that, reading needs to move from a leisure hobby to a repeatable system. A system provides the structure that motivation lacks. It works by making the act of reading obvious and easy to start, locking it into a fixed schedule, and adding a layer of accountability to ensure it happens every day. Success in professional reading is measured by how consistently information translates into sharper communication and better workplace decisions. Owning the books is secondary to applying them. By replacing unrealistic time-based targets, like trying to read for an hour every night, with a small, action-based microsystem, you increase the likelihood of showing up and retaining what you learn. The modern workday is heavily fragmented. Between meetings, urgent emails, and project sprints, finding a large, uninterrupted block of free time is difficult. This makes a default minimum standard necessary: exactly 10 pages a day. 10 pages is small enough to squeeze into a busy Tuesday, yet substantial enough for momentum. The math of consistency is clear. 10 pages a day yields 3,650 pages annually. Depending on book length, that translates to completing roughly a dozen books every single year. Organize your library into 3 specific categories. The Now shelf is for immediate problems. The Next shelf develops future skills. The Explore shelf is for broader curiosity. This removes the friction of choosing your next read. Reading volume only drives growth when the material you choose directly targets your current professional gaps and future goals. Once the daily minimum is set, you can identify secondary opportunities. The typical corporate lunch break is an ideal candidate, as it's often lost to mindless scrolling. You can reclaim this window by creating a lunchtime anchor. Eat first and dedicate the final 10 minutes to a protected reading session. Aim to finish reading before opening social media. Keeping the book physically accessible ensures starting requires almost no effort. The daily commute offers a similar opportunity. Repetitive driving or riding public transit can be repurposed into a practical classroom by utilizing audiobooks. Leveraging these secondary anchors captures low attention windows that are normally wasted. This transforms dead time into applied learning without adding a minute to the workday. Install the system with a 4-week rollout. Week 1, read 10 pages daily. Week 2, add a lunch session. Week 3, integrate an audiobook commute. Week 4, capture one insight and apply one action every day. Eventually, a work crisis or sheer exhaustion will cause you to miss a scheduled reading day. When that happens, focus on rapid recovery. Never turn one missed day into a missed week. If Monday fails, read on Tuesday. If 10 pages feel impossible, read 1 page to keep the routine alive. Prioritizing recovery over a perfect, unbroken streak allows the habit to survive the unpredictability of professional life. Tracking pages only proves that you showed up. It does not confirm that you learned or improved. Real growth requires different metrics. Track your consistency by days, volume by pages, useful ideas captured, and the workplace actions you actually apply. To drive that final metric, use a 1-minute application note. Immediately after reading, write one sentence starting with, "Because of this, I will." If the habit begins to stall, check for the most common failure mode, trying to read for heroic 30 to 60-minute blocks. When that happens, return to the 10-page rule. You should also feel free to quit books strategically. If a title no longer serves your goal, stop reading it and move to the next one. The value of corporate learning is found in the direct conversion of concepts into observable behavior change at work. For senior professionals, reading shifts from gathering basic information towards sharpening complex professional judgment. Senior leadership requires cross-functional reading. By studying disciplines like finance to understand business economics, psychology to understand people, or technology to understand disruption, you recognize the broader patterns that build executive judgment. At this level, ask 3 questions after every session. What does this information change? What does it challenge? And what should I do differently? This daily habit builds a personal knowledge system, raising the quality of meetings, coaching conversations, and strategic choices.